Hello everyone! In this video, I'm going to be showing you what a public lesson is. This is something you've probably seen, but most likely never used. And since I've seen some new teachers asking about this, I decided to make a video showing you what it is and how you could use it. So first, let's take a look at your main screen in ClassIn. Most of you that have regular students that you teach every week are using the Create Class option because you can make a classroom where you can chat with your student, you can add homework for your student, you can add many lessons all in one classroom for that student, and check grades and files. But there is another way to create a lesson, which is up here. It says Start Public Lesson. So I'm going to click on that. And you're going to see something that looks very familiar, just like when you create a lesson in your classroom. First is just your institution or school name, which you will not change. You can, of course, change the photo. You can name the lesson. I'm going to call this Trial Class. You can set the start date and time. I'm going to set this for next week. Let's do 5 o'clock. And you can set the length of the class. I'm just going to keep this at 1 hour. And then, of course, the class mode, make sure it's set to online classroom. And if you click on more, you will see those other options, just like the regular classroom, where you can set the number of students. I'm going to keep this 1v1. The teacher is set. I can record the classroom just like in a regular lesson. And then I'm going to click Create. So you're going to notice that when I create this, you're going to have the link pop up. Just like you can send a link for your regular classroom, with the public lesson, you have to send a link. There is no other way to add a student. So you can't go to your contacts and add the student to this public lesson. You have to send them either the link or the QR code. Personally, I prefer the link because with the QR code, you have to either use 2 devices or you would have to take a snapshot, and then the parent might not know how to scan that link on ClassIn. So with the link, it's very simple because they just have to click on it, and then it will automatically open ClassIn. So I'm going to click Copy To, and then you can just send the link via WeChat or any other communication device that you use with the student. So you're going to notice that it looks a lot different than your regular classroom. So unlike the classroom that has all those tabs at the top, you don't have any of those features in a public lesson. It's just the lesson. You can't chat, you can't add other lessons, it's just a one-time lesson. So why would you want to use a public lesson? One way you might use it is for a trial class. Let's say you're talking to a parent, they want to try out one of your lessons, and they're not sure if they're going to continue with any more lessons. You could use this as just a one-time lesson. You don't need the chat, you don't need the homework for the trial lesson. I personally, for my trial classes, I just use a regular classroom because I like to think, of course, the student's going to continue taking lessons with me. So I just go ahead and create a classroom, a regular classroom, but this is an option. Another way you might use it is for like a collaboration with other teachers. Let's say you want to just meet with a group of teachers to talk about your students, talk about lesson planning. You could create this public lesson and then invite all of those teachers to join you in that lesson. If you want to delete it, you just go to this little trash can up here, or you can click on the little pencil to edit any of the information. So now that I have this set over here, I can see my trial class, I can see the time and the date that it is set. Now I'm going to send it to the parent or the student. So I'm going to open my WeChat, and then I'm just going to paste. And then here they're going to see all the information for this lesson. And like I said, all they have to do is click on this link. Keep in mind, they still will need to have ClassIn downloaded on their device. They have to have that before they can enter that lesson with you. All right, so now that I have that sent to them, I'm going to show you what it looks like on the parent or student side. All right, so now I have my iPad as the student with that lesson link that I just sent to them. So now the parent just has to click on that link, and this is what they will see. So it says joining public course. It shows the time of the lesson, the length of the lesson. They do not have to copy where it says this little copy button. They don't need to do that because they can just click join now. And here it even reminds them, haven't downloaded ClassIn yet, they can download it because it has to be downloaded before they can join. So now I'm going to click join now, opening another app, continue. And now the student has this public lesson added to their ClassIn app. So here's all the information. I'm going to click join at the bottom and it says enrolled successfully. So now if I go back to the main screen on my student's iPad, now they can also see the class time and the class date. So when I go to mine, I can now see that my student, Kendall's student, has been added to the class. So now we both have it added on our classroom in the ClassIn app. When it is time for class, it will look exactly like a regular classroom. So within whatever the time frame is for your plan, they will have the little button pop up. You will have the little green button pop up to enter the class. So you go into the class just like a regular classroom, and then at the end of the class, the trial class will disappear because it's not a classroom like the regular classes. I don't have any of these features. So it will be gone. There will be nothing left for the student to see. So you might be thinking, well, how do they see the recorded lesson if you recorded it? So I'm going to go back to my students. I already did one earlier just to show you. Since it will disappear from their screen, they won't see any information on their main screen. You would just have to go to the calendar, which is right here. So they would go to the calendar, and then I could see this is the one I did earlier, and it shows the recording. So even though it's not a regular classroom, they still have access to the recording if you choose to record it. So everything about the actual class is exactly the same as a regular classroom. The only main difference is going to be what they have available to them in the app. Once the class is over, you would have to create a new public lesson for the next class. That's why this is not going to be good for recurring students because you don't want to have to send them a new link for every single class. So for regular students, just create a class. For trial students, if you choose to, or any collaborations you want to do with other teachers, you can use that public lesson. So hopefully that gives you some information about something you may have never even thought to use on ClassIn and give you some ideas of how you could use that. If you have any questions, let me know. Bye, everyone.